Okay, so this video going to talk about chapter 57, and this obviously this video gonna have spoilers, and this is not the full chapter. It's just like leaked on some of the picture from the chapter. So you know, so this is a spoiler. So in the chapter we start with Shi Di and his backstory when he is in China, because Shi Di is the first emperor that unified China as one big empire, big kingdom. And we see on the stone tablet, we see a picture of a mythical, legendary hero, you can say, and with a crossbow. And that picture is very famous because it is a symbolizing for the hero of the Yellow River. I don't remember his name right now, but he's a guy in like the dynasty that is first, like the first kingdom in the Bronze Age. China was the Shang, that is written down on turtle shells and or on with Chinese script. And then we have another kingdom that is more mythical, for example, like the Xia dynasty that was from 2500 BC. And that dynasty is not sure if that dynasty existed because it's not yet anything written down from that dynasty, because that dynasty is so many years before the Shang. So if that dynasty existed, no information about that dynasty is archaeologically found. Anyway, so that is a symbol for the Xia dynasty. So then we see some kind of demons, because it's a manga. We see a demon, and then we see some kind of a big demon that the farmers have to offer their wives or offers to him, like to make him not attack them. And then Shishwangdi say enough, and he defeat that big monster, and he somewhere get the power after he defeat that monster. Then we come back to the arena with Shishwangdi and Hades, and we see on the lector, up on the lector we see Poseidon, and then we see that then we see Hades use a weapon, attack from Poseidon, a water attack, and smash into Shishwangdi's, but Shishwangdi blocks it. Then he push it with his trident. Hades push with his trident to make more effect on the push. Yeah, and this kind of thing. So we see and obviously then we see Shishwangdi's eyes. They take off the bandana around his eyes so we can see it. And I think this gives just a very short information about the fight and about the ability, because we now Hades, because he's the lord of the underworld of the dead, probably one of his abilities that he can take abilities from the dead to himself and use it in battle. For example, when his brother is dead, Poseidon is dead, so he can use Poseidon's abilities to his own ability against his enemies. So that's probably one of his abilities. It's too early yet to say who will win. I hope Shishwangdi wins, but I do not know who will win. And I think it's not say so much. Like it's a bit of Shishwangdi's backstory we see with the monster. We see a picture of a guy with a crossbow on a wall. We see a big monster. Shishwangdi defeat that monster. Probably Shishwangdi gets the power after he defeats that monster. So that means that Shishwangdi is like Adam, that he have two abilities. One that is his natural ability, and then his ability that he gets from the Valkyrie that he have when he fight in that battle. So the armor is from the Valkyrie, and the pentagram he used in the chapter before, chapter 56, that was his own ability. So he have like a magical ability that is his own, and then he have Valkyrie ability that is from the Valkyrie. Some of the characters have own ability, for example, Adam and Buddha, Adam, and so on. Yeah, and so we see that, and it's with the fight and the ability. I think what I really hope for here is in that fight between Shishwangdi and Hades. What I hope here is that Hades will have his own abilities that is totally different from Poseidon. I really do not hope that we will see just the same ability that Poseidon have, or Poseidon never used when he fight against Sasaki. So I really hope that we give a very much standalone ability for Hades, his own abilities, and we don't get a new Poseidon, just a different god but the same abilities. I really hope for that. And yeah, and obviously Shishong-Di is not the strongest card that the Valkyrie have put out for the battle. Obviously Brunhilde still saved Nostradamus for other battle. We don't know yet why, but probably it's because Nostradamus is a very, very powerful character, and she wants to save that character for a very specific moment in some of the match that she knows she really needs. Maybe she's gonna use Nostradamus against Loki, or I think Loki is most likely will use against Loki, and somebody else against Odin. Odin's ability probably will be that he can use Mir to see into the future, and we know that Loki and Nostradamus can shapeshift. They can transform to different characters. The different I think with Loki's way to shapeshift is that he just shapeshift. But when Nostradamus shapeshift, he put some kind of clothes on that is he put clothes on and turned to that character. So it's like it's both of them shapeshift, but in a different way. But both of them totally transform to that person. So that is gonna be very interesting fight to see when that happens, when Nostradamus fight. But back to Shishwangdi's, and obviously the scan, the leaked of just a very short, it's just some pages, and it's not the full chapter. So this is what I mean when I say it's just a half. There's lots more information. Like Ragnarok chapters is between 30 or 40 chapters, pages. Yeah, and so probably first obviously is on Japanese, and then maybe 5 or 6 days later we're gonna have the translation in English, and that's gonna be, then I will do a full review on chapter 57 of Ragnarok. Yeah, I have not read anything yet. I just have looked at the picture, because I want to read the chapter, even if the chapter is not the correct English translation, but it's just the translation. Obviously, you have the translation you get from what I mean with this is that it's the same thing they say, but they say in a different way in English, with the original text. It's the same words, but they use it in it's same meanings, but they use it with the different words when they say it. Yeah, and so I look forward to that full chapter. Obviously, it says much more if you read the text, but I don't want to read the text because I want to read it when the chapter is out. So I can read it, because now it's just saying what people think. and I know already that the symbol is for the Xia dynasty, and the inspiration of the Bronze Age, and the demon is some kind of old demon that they have to offer to. And Shi Huangdi, he's the guy, he defeated the monster, and when he defeated the monster, and somehow he unified China, and he's the connector of the first dynasty, and he built up the connection with the whole thing, and this kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's interesting with that they have some things that is some symbolizing things that is from different historical things in Bronze Age China and Iron Age, and they also have something that totally have nothing to do with China. For example, the armor Shishondi use, for example, the weapon is many of the things is from different time period and is totally different, have nothing to do with. But obviously, it's a manga. It's not reality. It's fantasy. So that does not have to have anything to do with history in any shape or form, because it's not a historical manga. It's battle manga. So I think the character that have the best design of all of the fighters of the human side, on the guard side, I have to say probably Beelzebub. Probably have the best design. Beelzebub and Shi Huangdi is probably the guy that have the best design in the manga. I have to say. I really I like Shi Huangdi's like manga armor, like the black metal plate. There's a very look like almost like a crocodile kind of like a crocodile skin, but like this kind of but in metal shape, like that kind of shape of a crocodile, like prehistoric crocodile, something like that. He's like a crocodile, and like a little bit like Sauron in Lord of the Ring. He's like the movie armor you see in the movie. That's kind of similar to that armor Shi Huangdi have. It looks similar in some sense. But if I go historical, absolutely not. And if you look at historical armor from the Qing dynasty, 200. Okay, if you go like from around like 300 to 200, exactly 200 something BC, because Qing dynasty as an empire was very short. But if you talk about Qing as just a kingdom around the Warring State and Ottoman period was much longer, but as an empire was very short. It was Shishongdi. When Shishongdi died, the dynasty really fall very short, and that is the interesting question for me. So when we say dynasty, for me a dynasty is when you have the son takes over after his father, and so on and so on and so on. Then you have a dynasty. For me, it's strange when we say the Qing dynasty is, because I think they only have one or two sons, but they never really unify China wholly together as their father, for similar to like Attila the Hun. So then we come to we can say more like a Silver Age dynasty, for example the Han dynasty. And the Han dynasty is for me it's not my favorite dynasty, don't take me wrong, but my favorite dynasty in China have to be the Tang dynasty, because of many different reasons. Because it's more multicultural, that is first thing I like with the Tang dynasty. Obviously Tang dynasty maybe it's not totally it's just interesting because they have the Turkic people, they have people from the Sassanid dynasty, that's some kings from Iran, they have people from Korea, they have people from Japan. So for me, I really like the art style of the Tang dynasty because it's so mixed of different culture, with different way of wood, clay, porcelain, jade, iron, steel. So for me, my personal opinion of my favorite dynasty in China have to be the Tang dynasty between 600 to 900 AD is probably the best for me. The Han Dynasty is interesting. It's the same time as the time when Roman Empire was big and important, with Julius Caesar, Trajan, Augustus, all of the the famous name, the guy that everybody knows, every famous Romans at that time, that is in the classical Roman characters. So this is interesting for me personally with China, and in like I do a comparison in some sense with other kingdom and other dynasties in different time periods. We have the Han, we have the Rum, we have the Gupta in India. I don't know so much about the Gupta. I have to read much more about the Gupta to do a more correct comparison between all of these three. But I know that all in the Han Dynasty is from like 200 BC all the way to 222 AD. And then obviously Han Dynasty split up to the north, the western, the Han Dynasty, and obviously the Han Dynasty have a long war with the Xiongnu, a Turco Mongolic nomadic federation of different people, and that is not Mongol or Turkey, but the Iranian or Indo-European. Is about the Xiongnu. And so this is like the real essence of that fight. But obviously before the Han Dynasty, Xiongnu fight against the Qing Dynasty. So they have all of this, and you have it's lots of interesting connection. But my point here with the picture with the guy with the crossbow is that we see that in about Exia, they explain, and they give a obviously when I read the chapter, obviously they gonna give a totally different explanation about the magical power and how now that Shishwangdi can call up different weapons probably or something else that gives him like a powerful ability. This is probably everything I really want to say, and I think if today is maybe in 5 or 6 days we will have the chapter in English, and then I'm going to do a review on it,